To the Minister for Tertiary Education. How will his policy of restricting access to student loans for thousands of people and allowing tertiary institutions to shut out thousands of students from enrolling support New Zealanders of all educational and social backgrounds to achieve their potential?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, the Government is restricting access to student loans in two main ways: requiring students who have a place to pass 50% or more of their courses over 2 years, which seems entirely reasonable to me, and requiring permanent residents and Australians to show a commitment to New Zealand before being able to access student loans, which brings student loan access into line with similar criteria for student allowances and other welfare payments. These changes will ensure students are focused on achieving results in their tertiary study and ensure the maximum number of places available to New Zealand students.
Supplementary
Robertson.
Speaker. Why did he disagree with the Department of Labour's advice to him on his student support cuts? Quote, limiting access to student loans in a recession is a regressive measure which will only increase pressure on the labour market and unemployment.
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, if the member opposite is suggesting that we should just hide people in tertiary education even if they're not achieving in tertiary education, well then that's fine for him to make that suggestion. But my view is it's important that we don't have a double jeopardy scheme in student loans where we have people stay in education, don't pass their courses, build up a student loan and then not obtain the jobs that they would need to do to pay off their student loan once they leave university or tertiary education.
Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister, does he agree with Te Puni Pōkiri that the axing of student loans to 3,500 Māori students is at odds with the tertiary education strategy's aim of, quote, increasing the number of Māori students enjoying success at higher levels, unquote? And if so, why is he continuing to push the policy, especially at a time when unemployment in young Māori is running at 40%?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
No, Mr Speaker, what we're seeking to do is to encourage students to progress their tertiary education by passing at least half of their courses over 2 years, which is for every student. And also, we're also doing performance-linked funding to encourage institutions to provide pastoral care to their students. I'm confident that those two measures together will improve education outcomes for all students, including young Māori in Pacifica.
Kelvin Davis.
To the Minister, did the Minister consult the Minister of Māori Affairs on the impact the student loan restrictions would have on Māori, and if so, what response did the Minister give?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, I did have discussions with the Minister of Māori Affairs, and he quite rightly said at the time, I believe, from memory, that obviously he's concerned for the performance of Māori students over time, and I gave him my undertaking that I'll be continually working to improve that performance.
Question of Grant Robertson, supplementary.
Will he now step in to provide more places in tertiary education so that the thousands of students who are being shut out as a result of his policies will not languish on the unemployment benefit?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, we have in fact, for the member's benefit, stepped in and provided more student places at universities and in polytechnics. In fact, 5,600 more core places at universities in 2011 than in 2008. And 6,500 more in polytechnics, full-time places, in 2011 over 2008. You take that with the changes that we're making in terms of the entry requirements for permanent residents and Australians, I'm confident that the demand pressures will ease over the next 2 years.
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave of the House to table a paper provided to the Cabinet Social Policy Committee by the Minister of Tertiary Education, which includes comment from the Ministry of Pacific Island Affairs, the Department of Labour, the Ministry of Social Development and Te Puni Pōkiri opposing his changes.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question.